Tom and Javier, take it away.
All right, thanks much. I really appreciate everyone's time being here. And I heard what the previous speakers said. Really is a challenging time for localization, but we also think it's an exciting time. And to go off of what Mark said earlier about, there's so much more volume of localized content and higher quality is important. And, delivering it on budget is a challenge. And we want to talk about how to deliver Dolby Atmos as efficiently as possible and deliver the very best experience to consumers. So everyone knows who Dolby is, but this is our mission statement. We advance the science of sight and sound to enable spectacular experiences. I mean, without great storytelling, great technology is nothing, but we really feel that great technology can add an incredible amount of enhancement to great storytelling. I just took my kid to see In the Heights in a Dolby Cinema a couple of days ago, and what a wonderful musical. It looked great, it sounded great, and just the addition of Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision technologies just absolutely blew my socks off. And then I came home to check it out on my home theater system with my Dolby Vision television on HBO Max. And again, once again, I watched the whole thing literally the second night, two showings right in a row. It was that enjoyable. But anyway, let's get into it because we don't have a lot of time. So just briefly, the high-level description of what Dolby Atmos is for those who aren't aware. So when we developed Atmos, we didn't want to just, add another pair of channels and create another channel-based audio scheme. So we developed Dolby Atmos and there are two things that are special about it. Number one, it's truly three-dimensional sound all around you as well as overhead, just like in real life. And number two, the audio is what we call object-based versus channel-based. Every sound in a Dolby Atmos mix is mixed with positional metadata, X, Y, and Z coordinates in space. And the positional metadata travels with the mix all the way to the playback environment because every room is different in terms of number of speakers and location of speakers. So that sounds don't always come out the same speaker channels with an object-based mix. They come out the correct point in space, which in one room might be one speaker, another room might be a different speaker, or a combination of speakers. That way, Dolby Atmos always delivers the truest possible creative intent because the decoder in each environment knows how many speakers there are and where they are in that room. So anyway, this is what Dolby Atmos in a movie theater looks like. Speakers all around you as well as two rows of speakers overhead. Now, we know that most consumers aren't going to be chopping holes in the ceiling to put speakers up there. So our companion technology, Dolby-enabled speakers, basically uses audio ventriloquism. It fires sound up and bounces it off the ceiling and down to the listening position to create the illusion of sound coming from overhead. So that's how you get that three-dimensional immersion. And there's lots of ways for consumers to get that experience, from Dolby Atmos-enabled soundbars to home theater systems to add-on speaker modules to even Atmos built right in television. But it's not just a home theater ecosystem. Dolby Atmos is available now on tablets and laptops, smart speakers, and smart soundbars. And you may have just seen the announcement a couple of days ago about Apple Music now streams Dolby Atmos through iPhones, iPads, and Apple TVs. So it's a really excitement for Dolby Atmos, not just at home, but also on the go. Specifically, Dolby Atmos for home entertainment, Atmos is built right into TVs now. Lots and lots of different makes and models of televisions around the world that actually deliver Dolby Atmos right from the TV. And that's why it's important to be delivering the best possible experience using Dolby Atmos to consumers around the world because there are so many devices that are able to deliver Atmos. In terms of content, almost 2,000 movies have been released to cinemas in Dolby Atmos. Over 1,000 of them are available at home. So again, lots and lots of content out there. And streaming episodics as well. Over 2,500 TV episodes have been delivered in Dolby Atmos. Here you see Disney Plus, Netflix, Apple TV Plus, all delivering streaming originals in Dolby Atmos. One thing I love about this slide is that it shows the range of content that benefit from being mixed in Atmos. It's not just for sci-fi and action, but it's also for period dramas and comedies and modern day dramas, nature documentaries. All these different kinds of content benefit from Dolby Atmos. And streaming services all around the world are using it. So that's why we feel it's important to deliver Dolby Atmos not just in original language, but also in dubbed languages so that we can feed all these devices all around the world, not just in original languages, but Dolby Atmos dubbing too. I'm going to get a little bit more into the technology of how we do that, but first of all, I'm going to turn over to Javier to talk about the European perspective. So Javier, take it away.
Thank you, Tom. So, like Tom just explained, we've got Dolby Atmos distribution all around the world. It's not just the global OTT players, but many of the local, players in Europe. We have companies like Sky, BT, Orange distributing locally. But I think the other interesting aspect is that consumers are actually getting accustomed to local language in Dolby Atmos. A lot of the local commissioners of content are also producing Dolby Atmos. Here I've got just two examples for you today. So on the left, these are all productions by Movistar Plus, which is the TV division of Telefonica. Now, they've actually standardized all their original productions in Dolby Atmos, and they've had this for quite a few years. So in a way, this kind of proves that it's not just, the global OTT players who are commissioning this kind of content, but also, some of the tier one local players. On the right side, I have another example from Germany, from Sky Deutschland. Maybe I can highlight, if you see the Das Boot on the top right. Now, Das Boot was produced in Atmos as the third season of the series. Now, it was such a great success that they actually went back and redid the earlier two seasons that had not been fully done in Atmos. So yeah, this is just two very very powerful examples from Europe that consumers are also getting accustomed to the original local language production being done in Atmos, which is a great lead to possible international films getting dubbed. Let's move on to the next one now. So now it's not just that people are starting to distribute Atmos. It's also that consumers are starting to ask for Atmos. Now, this is a simple search I did, on Twitter, just try to see what consumers were saying out there. And this is some examples from my home country, from Spain. Just people looking for Atmos and talking about it. Let me just quote a couple of these for you. So in the center column, the second guy, Rider of Doom, says, hey, what series do you have in Dolby Atmos in Spanish? Why do I only find English? And then a crying emoticon. I mean, that's the kind of feeling we're finding. The real enthusiasts, are looking for Atmos actively, and when they don't find it, that's the response you get. Now, when they do find, if you look at the guy above Miguel, what he's saying here in Spanish is, wow, what a show in Vision and Atmos and in Spanish. So highlighting the Spanish element, which is important for him. So this is what we're finding, not just in Europe. Now let's move to some French examples. We find similar story in French. So Nicolas Lobrea there on the top left, for when do I have the French version of Dolby Atmos? Why are the series you offer never in Dolby Atmos? Says Philos Fabrice on the bottom right. So you can see, people are actively looking for this type of content when they look for content from their provider. Now, if we move on to the next page, yeah, we find this in every country. Now we have an example from Germany. Now I love some of the German quotes because Patrick Eckert here says, finally my AV receiver is showing Atmos when I play my series in German. So and then of course a star emoticon there. So yeah, so they actually notice these things and they look for them. I picked examples here from 3 European countries, but we're finding this everywhere that, as people get to experience the format and they actually actively look for it. So maybe move on to the next slide. So why are we seeing this? Now, apart from all the content that we've been talking about that's available, so Tom showed the 400 TV models that are available in Atmos, and this is what helps explain this full story of how Atmos has grown. Now, this chart compares on the blue line, which is the traditional surround systems, 5.1, 7.1, AVRs, soundbars. You can see it's a growing market, but a small market. But as you can see from the chart, in the last 3-4 years, Atmos has really taken off. And if you, Tom, if you click onto the next one. So what we see now, so the last data we have available is actually Q3 2020. There's 90% of the market is actually in Atmos. So there's a ratio 9-to-1 of Atmos systems versus classical 5.1 or 7.1 systems. I mean, this is a real change from what most people actually had in mind. So in a way, the industry has a mindset that 5.1 is the audio standard and Atmos is almost like an additional thing you may want to do. But I think this chart clearly shows that Atmos devices in the living room far outweigh the classical 5.1 devices. So it's really like a new standard. So the main driver of all this, like I said, is all those TVs that are coming to market with Atmos built in. So it's an out-of-the-box experience that just works, no cable, no problems, it just works. So with this, content creators are now starting to create a new standard, which is Atmos, rather than 5.1 as the premium version of the content. So back to you, Tom, now. Thank you.
Thanks, Javier. So this is kind of the heart of our presentation. And with apologies, I hate see a dog, hear a dog slides, but I really want to hit every one of these points because we feel they are important. Dolby Atmos, like Javier said, really has become the new normal for premium home entertainment. And as you saw from those tweets, a growing number of global consumers are looking for Dolby Atmos in their languages at home. It provides additional value to the title's release, like for transactional services, leverages the capabilities of consumers' premium devices. And as you saw from Javier's last slide, more and more devices are now Atmos capable. And it really delivers that wow factor home experience, like I was mentioning when I saw it in the Heights at home immediately after seeing it in the movie theater. And I loved it just as much. And more global platforms and licensees are requesting Dolby Atmos foreign languages. So, here's kind of how we get there technology-wise. International dubbing, by and large, is still done mostly in 5.1, even though many, many studios have told us they are creating Dolby Atmos M&Es, but they're just putting them on the shelf for now because they're waiting kind of for that go moment. And we think the go moment is already there. Here's the thing, though. You're marrying the same dialogue stem to a 5.1 or a Dolby Atmos M&E. So our argument is, hey, let's start using the Dolby Atmos M&E. I'm going to oversimplify a little bit, but it essentially comes down to a two-finger mix. I mean, you're still doing things to the dialogue stem, like treating it with room reverbs if you want to make it sound like they're speaking in a wood-paneled room or a metal-walled spaceship. But experienced mixers, if they know how to use, reverb plugins, it's really not a heavier lift doing it in 5.1 land versus Dolby Atmos land. And so it's the same type of processes for mixers who are experienced in Dolby Atmos. And the thing is, when you mix 5.1, you're going to get a 5.1. When you mix your international dubs in Dolby Atmos, you're not only going to get Dolby Atmos, but our tools help you automatically and quickly and easily re-render 5.1 stereo, whatever you need. And, that just makes for happier consumers and happier studios. So to wrap up, our argument is, look, deliver the very best for your customers with Dolby Atmos first, from the original dub as opposed to Dolby Atmos being an add-on after you do a channel-based mix. After you do that premium mix and make your M&E, the good news is mixers over time have come to trust the automatically derived channel-based re-renders. And the Dolby Atmos toolsets make it really easy to create those localized versions, automatically rendering out 7.1, 5.1 stereo, M&Es, stems, whatever you need. All those can be derived easily from the Dolby Atmos master in the Atmos renderer. And the renderer even has tools so that you can customize your 5.1 and your stereo re-renders with those re-render trim controls that you see in that second window from the top on the right there. And that overall is going to yield the easiest and the overall best quality result for all use cases. So that was kind of the speed round version of our usual 45-minute presentation. So I hope everyone enjoyed it.